Good day to all. Welcome to Extreme Recap. The supernatural story begins. We see Claire sitting in a wheelchair and observing a hospital through the window. James Leffler, her doctor, comes in a few seconds later and asks how she is doing. After a long time, Claire responds enthusiastically, stating that she feels better and has slept well. She is now at home with her family after being released from the institution. Well, Claire is hanging out with Alex, her son. She is reminded to take her medication by her husband, who appears to be concerned. In contrast, Claire reassures him that she is fine and that he shouldn't be concerned about her. She decides to investigate when she hears the sound of a creaking door from above after eating dinner and sitting on the couch watching television while her husband sleeps next to her. She hangs, however, a few seconds later, without a precise explanation. After that, the setting shifts to many years later, when Alex, Claire's son, has grown up and is attending a prestigious English university. In a lecture about human consciousness and out-of-body experiences later in his science class, Professor Powell asserts that humans inhabit a larger dimension. Reality because of their greater mental capacity than other animals. However, he asserts that there may be an even larger existence that no one can perceive. Professor Powell asserts that there are numerous approaches, psychedelic substances included, brushes with death, and more outrageous astral projection. The professor asserts that there is evidence to support Ben's question about whether humans can glimpse into the astral world with elevated consciousness. Ben is a student. Alex says that the idea interests him and that he wants to do more research after the lecture. Ben, on the other hand, is of the opinion that astral projection is nothing more than a fairy tale. Alex then goes to the library and reads a number of books about astral projection. Elisa, a girl, arrives quickly and appears to have a crush on him. She extends an invitation to him to spend the evening with their friends. However, Alex declines her invitation after telling her about the books he plans to read. Alex is seen sleeping in bed that evening, attempting astral projection. Additionally, Alex reports to his university friends the following morning that he unsuccessfully attempted astral projection. He is advised by Alyssa not to engage in that because it could be risky. However, his other friends make fun of it and claim that it is not real. Jordan, one of his friends, tells him that if he wants to do it right, he should talk to an expert, also known as Professor Powell, who informed them of it later. When Alex goes to Professor Powell, he tells him that he tried astral projection, but it was pointless, and that he wants to know more about it when the professor tells him about it, to inquire as to his interest in this. Since they are studying human awareness, Alex says he wants to gain a better practical understanding of spirit. The professor then provides him with additional information regarding the subject. Additionally, the professor responds to Alex's inquiry as to whether or not this can be used to communicate with deceased individuals. Additionally, the professor suggests Michelle Collins, a writer who has written a book about religious spirituality and the human capacity to connect with it. He then walks Alex through the steps he took to perform astral projections. In the following scene, Alex's friends invite him to a house party, but he declines. Shortly thereafter, however, he receives a phone call from his father, prompting him to leave while Elizabeth follows. It turns out that Alex only recently learned that her mother committed suicide, and he is furious at his father for withholding this information until now. He is just a young child, so his father tries to reason with him. Additionally, it was a lot to absorb. However, Alex screams at him and hangs up the phone in disbelief. In the meantime, Alyssa, who was listening to him, quickly flees to avoid being noticed. After that, a scene from a flashback shows Alex's father being irritated as he broke the news to him. Alex says that he feels like he was left out of everything that they did that night. While we see Elizabeth enjoying and having fun at a party, Alex conducts additional research on astral projection on the internet. Elizabeth tries to call Alex, but he is too preoccupied with his reading to take her call. However, Alyssa decides to leave him a voicemail, inviting him to the party in the event that he reconsiders. Alex receives his mother's belongings from his father in a subsequent flashback. He takes the pendant that belonged to his mother there and keeps it for himself. Alex is currently resting comfortably in his bed, recalling the lessons he was taught by the professor. The objective is to mislead the brain into thinking that the body is in danger of drowning, which will cause bodily paralysis, which is a state that occurs between wakefulness and sleep. One can narrate verses like, "I am at total peace, I am connected to all that exists, and I am empowered to travel wherever I go," while disconnecting from their paralyzed body. The scene then shifts to the morning of the following day, when Alex wakes up and heads off to university. At the meeting, he tells his friends that the night before he saw himself out of his body and that he has perfected his astral projection. Elisa, on the other hand, corrects him by pointing out that nothing can be perfected overnight. Because of this, his friends did not have faith in him. They decided that night to use a weighted pendulum after Alex filmed it to see if he could actually move something in the room. Elisa then discusses with her friend in the library how Alex has been distant from her. Elizabeth should talk about her feelings for him, according to her friend. Elizabeth, however, is afraid to do so, claiming that she does not want to worry Alex because he is dealing with personal family issues. She then discusses the overheard phone conversation and how Alex's mother's death has had a significant impact on him, possibly explaining why he is obsessed with astral projection. Alex hooks up the webcam that night and hangs a pendulum in his room. The pendulum begins to swing shortly after he goes to bed. After that, in his sleep, he continues to move in an odd manner. Additionally, the pendulum swings wildly as time goes on. When Alex shows his friends the recorded footage the following morning, they are shocked to see the pendulum swing. They say it's because of the wind. However, Alex is certain that he shut all the windows before going to bed. He asserts that the moment he touched the pendulum, he had left his body. And as they kept watching, they observed a rapid swing of the pendulum. He claims to have fallen asleep at the time and only once touched the pendulum, which surprises Alex. Alex tries to ask for projection once more that night. Even though he hasn't touched the pendulum, he is surprised to see it moving strongly when he looks at the video the next morning. He observes that the lamp in the room and the rope are both violently swinging. Alex becomes perplexed when he notices a shadow in the room a moment later. Later, Alex looks into the shadows on the internet and finds a specialist named Dr. James Leffler, who is also the doctor who treats his mother. He then tells Dr. Leffler in a message that he tried astral projection and has now met one of these shadow people. He also asks what he should do next. Jordan goes to bed in the following scene by turning off the lights in the living room. He sees a shadow in the room at that exact moment. However, the shadow vanishes as soon as he turns on the light, leaving him. The following morning Jordan makes fun of him after telling Ben and Alex that he saw something standing in the living room, describing him as deluded. Alex, however, becomes concerned. Afterward, he really looks at his PC to check whether he has gotten an answer from specialist Leffler. He receives the doctor's message, as expected, instructing him to immediately cease astral projection. Alex then sends a second message stating that he has stopped doing it but that he is still having activities and that his roommates are also seeing things because it is very harmful. After that, close to midnight, people talking and whispering in the kitchen wake Alex up. He concludes that his buddies are still awake. He thus sets out to confront them. However, when he activates the lights, he can't find anyone there. Alex goes to see Dr. Leffler the following day and tells him everything that has happened to him in the past few days. Dr. Leffler tells Alex that he doesn't usually meet people so quickly, but Alex's case is unusual. Alex becomes perplexed and ponders his meaning. Dr. Leffler mentions the sight he once saw years ago just as he is noticing his pendant, which belonged to Claire, an elderly patient of his. When Alex hears this, he becomes enraged at the doctor and blames him for his mother's premature discharge and suicide. Dr. Leffler tries to justify himself by claiming that he didn't anticipate his mother's death and that he now knows a lot more than he did then. Alex, on the other hand, becomes even more enraged and storms out of the room, insisting that he will not need assistance in the future. While Alex is walking around the university, he notices a shadow and becomes concerned. However, the shadow swiftly transforms into a human. He once more glimpses a shadow figure with horns later in the library for a brief moment. Additionally, Alex's paranoia grows as a result. Following that, we see specialist Leffler in his office who switches off the light and notification a shadowy figure too. However, the figure has vanished when he turns it back on. Alex hears murmurings in his room once more that evening. Alyssa is also present when he goes to investigate. After that, Elizabeth sits with him and says how much she loves him. Alex then shares his perspective, claiming that he also likes her but is concerned about losing their friendship, which leads to a romantic kiss. However, Alice assures him that in the subsequent scene, this will not occur. Alyssa and Alex share the bed as they awaken. Before long, a shadow shows up behind him, hauling Alyssa up. She becomes scared by this occurrence. Additionally, Alex informs her of an unusual presence in the room. Alex makes an apology for his behavior when he returns to Dr. Leffler's office the following day. He maintains that his father only recently informed him of the incident, which is why he is still in shock. He then tells the doctor how the situation is getting worse and asks for help. But the doctor says that this might be a spiritual problem. Is uncertain how to manage it. He asserts that Alex's attempt at astral projection might have opened a door that was supposed to be shut. As a result, Leffler suggests that Alex contact an expert named Michelle Collins for assistance. Alex immediately sets up an appointment with Michelle by looking for her online. He and Melissa then go to meet her. Furthermore, it turns out that Michelle is adept at a number of mystical practices. To shuffle, she gives Alex a deck of tarot cards. She then sets 3 cards face down on the table when he does. Michelle flips over the first 2 and says that they symbolize abandonment, sacrifice, and a significant life shift. But she gets scared when she flips the 3rd cord. She then requested that they be deported immediately, claiming that Alex had brought some evil spirits along with him. But Alex wants her to help. And when Elisa and Alex try to leave, the door suddenly closes behind them. Now, Michelle tells them that the credits depict a dark period in his life and that she has never seen anything like this. She asserts that the spirits have surrounded them, searching for a way in, and that the only option they have is to drive them out. Michelle asserts that she has seen shadows, one of which is extremely powerful and only desires destruction. As a result, they must discover its flaw. She then inquires about Alex's experience with astral projection, to which he responds that he has in order to locate his mother. Michelle tells him that his mother is not here, but that something else is there to break him down after hearing this. Michelle asks Alex to carry out yet another astral projection in order to resolve this issue. At first, Alex tries to reject it by claiming that astral projection brought all the bad things into his life. However, Michelle inspires him to conquer his fears. He then loses consciousness after she lights a candle and tells him to investigate. She then proceeds to yell at the spirit to reveal its name after locating the Ouija board on the table. The dark being quickly appears behind Alex a few seconds later, but they are unable to see him. The device on the wiggly table now begins to move to different letters as Michelle instructs Alex to inquire about its name. A Maimon is written in it. Michelle also finds this shocking. She asks Alex to stop his astral projection right away, but he starts talking like a demon. Seeing this, Michelle attempts to recount a request, yet Alex keeps on snickering, making matters more unnerving. Before they can do anything, Alex bounces on Melissa and starts gagging her on the floor. Michelle Chancellor's prayers, on the other hand, caused Alex to return to his normal form, indicating that the darkness had left his body. After that, they give each other hugs as the devil is finally defeated for good. Alex visits his father and introduces him to Alyssa in the following scene. They examine Alex's child drawings inside. Additionally, one drawing in particular irritates Alex. A flashback of his mother ascending the stairs follows, where a large shadow figure is standing next to a young Alex as he draws his family. Turn on notifications, please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.